Om. Om. ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Hari Om everybody and welcome back to some of you. Last time we studied the 8 types of people, um, 4 of whom, the first 4 who do not have faith in him, faith in God, who do not resort to him whenever they want anything. And these people he classified as mudaha, foolish, those who have a wrong understanding and yet they will go on arguing for that incorrect understanding. The nara adhama, the naradhamaha, the lowest among the human beings who are only living an animalistic life. Animals live by instinct alone. So if we also live and say just eat, drink and be merry, and that's all there is to life. Life is meant for enjoying. The world is bhoga bhumi, it is to be experienced. Otherwise why would God have created this world? Those are the naradhamas. They are living a very animalistic life. The next are the mayaya aparata jnanaha. Their knowledge is tainted, is deprived, because they are under the extreme influence of the gunas. So when extreme influence of tamas means how are we to know whether we are under the extreme influence of the gunas? If we are under the influence of tamasic guna, we will be hoarding things. We are hoarders. We will keep everything in the house. You see some houses which are like just cluttered. So you hold on to inert objects, that is tamasic. Rajasic is when it is just, life is just a to-do list. So it's like one thing after the next. There is no time to sit and relax and even take a breath. That is Rajasic. Dynamism to the extreme, because there are a lot of desires in the mind. And so to fulfill all those desires, a lot of action is required. And sattvic is when we are holding on to our knowledge, but here knowledge is knowledge of the material world. If we are holding on to the spiritual knowledge, we would not come under the influence of rajas and tamas. Holding on to spiritual knowledge indicates that we are not under the influence of rajas and tamas. But because there are so many desires in the mind, a lot of knowledge in the material world is required, and we are holding on to that. So these are the people who are under the influence of the gunas. And the last one was asuri, the people with asuri prakriti, those who are extremely identified with the body. So they will do everything for the body. And these are the people that Bhagavan says, they do not surrender to me. Namam prapadyante, he said, they do not come to me. But then there are these other 4 kinds of people who they bhajante, they worship me, they serve me, they have faith in me. And those people are the artha, the ones who are in distress. Example given was Draupadi, also Gajendra, the elephant Gajendra. or the princesses who were captured by Narkasura, they were Artha, they were in distress and they called out to God. That is what we should also do if we are in any kind of pain or any distress. He's the best person to call out because, like I told you, he's the only one that is listening. There is nobody else listening, and he will send help. He will send help in various. Thing that is to be remembered here is that if I put my faith in one person, any person, maybe my child, maybe my friend, that person may not be available when I'm in distress. It's not like the person doesn't want to be, but what if that person is out of town? What if that person is, can't be reached, or, something like that, right? But with God, he's always available. That is what we have to remember, that his internet never goes down, electricity never goes off. So he is always available. And the other thing is, he can have anybody in this universe come and help us. Could be a bird, could be an animal, could be a human being, could be a neighbor, could be a stranger, who will come and help. And that's where we have to recognize that this is God that has sent this. I didn't even know this person. Suddenly this person has come up and helped me do something which I was not unable to do myself. So that is the part that we have to remember. We think, because we don't see God, we say, we see people, but actually God is the one that is present. So that is Artha. If we also become Artha, we also in distress sometimes, then God is the only one to turn your attention to. The next was Jidnyasu. So those who are wanting knowledge, Nachiketas was one example. Arjun also, he became a Jidnyasu. He wanted to know why he couldn't follow his duty. So Jidnyasu also is turning to the Lord. And this Jidnyasu is knowledge for the higher, not material knowledge. The one who wants material knowledge will go to the other material teachers, like, not spiritual teachers. So Jidnyasu is the one who is wanting this higher knowledge. And the next one was um, Artharthi. So they do want material wealth, but they are going towards God. So they're not doing anything wrong. They're saying, "Oh Lord, give me, like help me study for this exam, or help me get this promotion, or help me get this bonus." So they're going to God. So all of these are going Godward. The other ones are going dogward. And the last one is the Jnani. The Jnani is one who has recognized himself to be the self in all. Okay, so Jnani here is a realized person. And obviously, once he has recognized himself to be that self, then he's constantly abiding in it. And that is what now Bhagwan is going to say in the next verse, in verse 17. This is what Bhagwan says. Tesham jnani nityayukta ekabhaktirvishishyate priyo hi jnaninotyartham aham sacha mama priyaha. Of them, the wise, ever steadfast and devoted to the one, excels, for I am exceedingly dear to the wise, and he is dear to me. This is where the complaint is. People say, Bhagwan, you are partial, because you said that Tesham is out of the four who are referred to in verse 16, Tesham, among them. So these are the next four, not the first four categories. Among them, he says, Jnani is Nitya Yukta. Nitya Yukta coming from the same root, yuj, to join. So Yukta means he is joined to the Nitya. Nitya is that which is permanent. Okay. So just in the earlier class, we saw Viveka. What is Viveka? The discrimination between Nitya and Anitya. So this discrimination, when it is perfected, the Jnani is the one who has perfected this discrimination. And so he knows exactly what Nitya is, what permanent is, and what is ephemeral or impermanent. Now, what is impermanent in our chart? If you were to see the Om chart, the Om is the only Nitya thing. Everything else under is anitya. So this entire world, this universe, this body, this mind, now you look at your own mind, things that you liked in your childhood or didn't like in your childhood. Do you like those same things or do you dislike those same things now? Like if you look at your body, if you look at your body, was it the same when you were born? Or when you were, younger, or when what you were yesterday, also even, or what you were in the morning. Also, if you were to really analyze the cells in the body, you'll know that okay, this body also is not same from what when I woke up. So all this is falling under Nitya, and he knows that Nitya is, there are the three states that we have. That is one aspect of Nitya and Anitya. The other aspect is we know the three states: waking, dream, and deep sleep states. And we consider ourselves to be the waker and the dreamer and the deep sleeper. But what he has understood and what we have to understand it, that these states are anitya. That is our experience. See, it is our experience, but we don't recognize it that way. Is it not our experience that now I'm a waker and I was dreaming last night and I was a dreamer? Now that dreamer is gone and this waker Jaya has come up, and then now this waker will go to sleep and then the sleeper Jaya will come. So that means what? These three states are anitya, they are impermanent, they change. That's why they're called a state. But there is something which is common in these three states, and that is nitya. That was there in the waking, that was there in the dream state, and as well as in the deep sleep state. And that nitya is nitya. He's joined to that nitya. That is what the word, this nitya yukta eka bhakti, they're adjectives to jnani. How is the jnani? Jnani is always abiding in that nitya vastu. That is the idea. Means abiding means what? Means he is constantly in remembrance of the fact that he is not this BMI. So whatever is happening to the BMI, and it is anitya. And then he doesn't get affected by it. He knows that this is okay, this is happening today, tomorrow it's going to change. Today I'm happy. I know tomorrow I'll be unhappy also because something else will come. So he doesn't go up and down with that. He's not hanging on to that log of wood, that example I've given you with Gurudev's. He's hanging on to the lighthouse is Nitya Vastu there in that example. Lighthouse doesn't shake. No matter how many waves come and go, the lighthouse is the same. So this Nitya Yukta, the Jnani is like that. So, and Nitya Bhagwan, in this context, Bhagwan is Nitya Yukta. So when Bhagwan is saying he means he is always abiding in me. Jnani is the one. See, the other people are in distress. Suddenly they remembered Bhagwan. Even that Bhagwan is saying, he will say in the next verse, even that I accept. At least in distress, they thought of me. Forget not thinking every moment, but Jnani now you only see. Jnani is constantly in Artha only when, oh, oh God, I need this. Okay. Jinyasu when he wanted knowledge, whereas Jnani already has got the knowledge. So who is superior? He's saying he's superior, right? And then the the third one, Artharthi, when he wanted wealth, he came to me. If he got the bonus, then he'll forget me. There was a guy who was praying for a lottery ticket, not lottery ticket, lottery money, to win the lottery. And then he said, I will give you half, Bhagwan, whatever I win. If I win $10,000, I'll give you half. Then he won only 5. Then he said, Bhagwan, you already took your 5. So now I don't have to give you anything. So this is what the Artha, he went to God. But God is so compassionate that God is saying, at least he came to me in the beginning. No, I'm happy with that. That's much how compassionate God is. That okay, he forgot me after he got the winning, but at least before he came to me. That is what I take. Okay. Not that we should be forgetting him after. So, but this Jnani, the last one, constantly, whether he wins the lottery ticket or he doesn't win the lottery, whether he is in distress or is not in distress, and knowledge, so he doesn't have to ask for knowledge anymore. So that's why that is what is meant by this Nitya Yukta. Then Eka Bhakti Vishishyate. Vishishyate means Vishishta word. Means separate. Means this is what separates him from the other three. That among the four, what is separating this Jnani is Nitya Yukta, being Nitya Yukta, and Eka Bhakti means he is constantly, because he's abiding in me, I am his only support. That is what Eka Bhakti means. Bhakti directly translated devotion. But here means you know what is love means? You only depend. Ananya bhakti, in chapter 12 we will use the word ananya, exclusive. The devotee of mine exclusively only loves me and nothing else, and also for anything he will only come to me. Eka bhakti, single pointed. Nitya yukta is single pointed abidance only in me, in Bhagwan, and his support is only me. So no matter what happens, it is, see, artharthi, he thinks money is support. That's why he's asking for money. That's what we are doing, right? We think, oh, if I have a good pension, good bank balance, then I'm secure. I have a good house, then I'm secure. So what we are doing is, for all those, we are going to God, and God is happy with that also. That's what I'm telling you. For all this, if we don't do anything wrong, we don't go dogward, but we go Godward. God is very happy about that. But nanny is not doing that. Nanny is only Godward. Whatever happens, I have, I don't have, I got, I didn't, whatever has happened, he is only there. Because remember that the nanny also has a body, and that body can have afflictions. Because one might say, what is the nanny going to have? Oh, no, 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 no. I mean, Ramakrishna Paramahansa had cancer. Gurudev had, bypass. So body prarabdha is there. Okay. So this body, he will not run to the doctor. Tapon Maharaj, there's the story there. Some of you may not have heard. He was down with malaria. Okay. Who is Tapon Maharaj? Gurudev's guru, huh? Please, those of you who are new, Gurudev Swami Chinmayanand studied under Swami Tapon Maharaj. And Swami Tapon Maharaj he did not want any disciples. He did not want anybody. He used to live in the Himalayas. And in the summer, he would be up there in the top. And then only in the winter, he came down to Uttar Kashi for 6 months. And Vairagya, actually, his example I should have given you. Anyway, he would come and he would stay. He had devotees, rich devotees, and he would stay in their house. And then they would offer him slippers, offer him food in a silver thali, and all that they would do. And he would stay and he would wear the slippers, whatever they gave, food, whatever food they offered all good food. He would eat, no problem. But on the day that he had to leave, he left the slippers behind, he left everything behind and walked out. Vairagya, dispassion. Okay. So he had malaria at one point, and 44 days, for those of you who know what malaria is, you get shivers, you get cold, and the body shivers, and then suddenly there's a high temperature. Then the temperature goes down, and then you again start shivering. 44 days, he never went to the doctor. This is what Eka Bhakti is. He said, okay, Lord, if this body's prarabdha is to live, it is going to live. What is the doctor going to do? You are there. He never went. 44 days he suffered. Got well. Then in the last, when he was very frail, Gurudev went. By that time, Gurudev had his own devotees. Gurudev had his own following. By the time, Tapon Maharaj's body was really, really frail and sick. And Gurudev went and cried. He said, come to Delhi. I've got devotees. I have, who are doctors. We will put you in the hospital. And he said, this is what I taught you, to cry. This is true. He said, this is what I taught you. You think death doesn't happen in Delhi? You think death is not going to happen because of your doctors? And now that it is my time to meet with my Lord, merge in the self, you are protecting, you're trying to protect me. What have I taught you, Chinmaya? That is what he said. That is the jnani, who is only depending on God. So that's why Vishishyate, that's why he excels, that's why he is separate, he's different from the other three. Okay? So then he said, Priyo hi jnani nyothar. That's why this jnani is very dear to me. Because I am his only support. Right? And then I am exceedingly dear to the wise, and he is dear to me. Now, here, what is to be understood is, see, the jnani, in life, one thing you remember, the Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad has this phrase, Atmanastu Kamaya. Atmanastu Kamaya means what? There's a whole paragraph where the Guru, Yajnavalkya, is telling his wife, oh dear Maitreyi, please note that a husband loves his wife for his own self. A wife loves her husband for her own self. A mother loves a child for herself. A child loves the mother for himself. Means what? Every relation he has given in that, friend, whatever, sister, brother, all the relations, what it is ultimately, in the ultimate analysis, we love ourselves the most. And this is hard to swallow because, and that's why I'll tell you the story. Akbar asked this question to Birbal. Everybody knows Akbar and Birbal. He asked this question to Birbal saying, who do we love the most? And Birbal said, we love ourselves the most. And Akbar said, no, a mother loves her child the most. And Birbal said, no. And as usual, Akbar said, either you prove it or I'm going to behead you. He was the king, right? That was always he was saying. So he said, okay, no problem. So he had a tank constructed. There was a tank, and in the middle of that tank, there was a pole. There was a pole that was kept. Now the pole, the walls of the tank were higher than the pole. So the pole was a little bit lower than the top of the thing. And then what he did was he put a mother monkey and her baby in that tank, and they were playing, so the both of them were playing. They were happy. Then he started infusing water into that tank. So as the water came and the mother saw the water coming, she picked up her baby on her shoulders and started climbing the pole because she realized that I need to go because the water is rising. As the water rose and rose, she went up and up, and the baby was on her shoulders. Now, what happened was she reached the top of the pole. Now, the tank, I told you, the tank is already higher than the pole. So they started putting more water in there to a fact when the baby is on the shoulder. So she started, drowning first. So when she started drowning, she put the baby on top of the pole and stood on the baby, on that child. And that's when Birbal said, look, in the ultimate analysis, ultimate, she's now sacrificing her child for her own life, which means that we always, and look at your own experience. Think, that's why in Gurudev, I have been thinking a lot about this as well. Like, what, see, even our own children, that is what I find, if they don't behave as per my expectation, I'm not happy. That expectation brings disappointment. When I expect, and I expect them to be like me, because, I am like this now, why can't they be? And when they don't reach that standard, then I'm not happy. I'm telling you my own example. Huh? I'm telling you a fact. And that is what proves the Upanishad statement. That as long as I feel happy, then all my relations are happy, or everything. And another thing I'll tell you, see, I had a cousin, and then once when I went to India, my mom said they amputated his hand, and I'm like, oh my God, like I was like kind of horrified. And my mom said that no, he actually requested it. I'm like, what? He said no, he had some sort of ulcer, I don't know. It was so painful that he said, take this hand off now. So when he was in so much pain, he sacrificed his own hand. See, when diabetes, extreme diabetes gives you gangrene, right? What is the doctor saying? No, I have to cut if you have to live. And what the patient will say, no, I will die. Don't cut my foot. Has anybody said that? Unless they were, I don't know, if they were in their, late age. But nobody says that. There's a no, save my life, save my life. It's okay if I can live without my foot and my toes or my whatever. Frostbite people get. Toes get cut off, right? So our own self is the most dear to me. Now, hear what Bhagwan is saying. I am extremely dear to the wise means I am his self. He knows that. So I am actually even if we don't know that the self is God, I love the self the most. Now this Jnani has come to know that this self within me is nothing but God. So who does he love the most? God. We actually love God the most, actually. But what we think is we don't think, we have not recognized the fact that the self within us is nothing but God. So that self is right now is the ego self. And what we love is our ego. That's why we get hurt when our ego gets hurt. When somebody does something which is not as per our expectation, or which is not as per our standards, or says something to us, what is getting hurt is the ego. And that's why then I'm unhappy with that person. Am I not? It may be my own child. I'm not happy with that child. Because why? Because the child has not met my expectations. And that expectation is coming out of ego. Once you recognize that, you are at peace. Because you're like, okay, ego is hurt. I'm not the ego. Even intellectual understanding. This is how you have to diffuse pain in the mind. Pain. And of course, body pain is there, but body, like I've always told you, do drugs. If they're telling you take more, take whatever, body pain is easy to handle. Physical pain, my leg is hurting, my hand is hurting, my back. Okay, that's fine. First of all, you're not the body, but that's okay. That's okay. Tylenol, whatever. But this mental pain that we get, right? That is hard to handle. That has to be recognized. Here in this case, what is happening is I am extremely dear to the wise means I am his self. He has recognized that. So obviously, it all. And then what? And he is dear to me by because he and I are not separate. Because see, if you were to imagine that God is here and this person is here. Now, this person has recognized God to be his self. Now, God knows that he and I are not different. Right? You get this point? This is a very important point. That is what is meant. This is not like he's partial to the nannies. This is the that even Sudha had said, right? God is partial. God is not partial. God is not partial. God is the same in everybody. Right? Duryodhan as well as Arjun. Krishna was there in both. The self was there in both. But Duryodhan loved his ego more than the self, and Arjun loved the self. So this is what is meant here. And that's why he excels. The reason he excels is because of Nitya Yukta and Eka Bhakti, means I am his only support. He has recognized the self to be the self in all. And now, once you recognize yourself to be the self in all, how will your behavior be towards everybody? Like it's your own reflection now. So the behavior changes to the external people. Our behavior will change when we recognize this. Okay. God, God is so compassionate. See, those who think of him out of devotion, of course, we can understand. Now, these people are thinking, but he also liberated people who thought of him out of fear, hate, jealousy. Ravana is exempt. Everybody whom, please remember, Putana he killed, Shishupal he killed, Kamsa he killed, Ravana he killed. In Ramayana, we see Bali he killed, right? Everybody that Bhagwan killed was liberated at the last minute. That was his compassion. Now, the question will arise, okay, then I'll just keep hating God. And then at the time, he will give me, no. But what will your life be? Your life is full of hatred. Your life is full of fear. Then do you want to live a life of hatred, fear like that, remembering Lord, or do you want to remember him out of love? See how, devotion. Now in Narad Bhakti Sutra, we'll study devotion to the highest. That is the highest treatise on devotion, right? So do you want to have that? You yourself think now, if you hate somebody like, or your blood is boiling, do you want that and then raise your blood pressure, or do you want to love? So it is always good to remember Lord with love. And we get angry at him when things don't go our way, but you have to have the faith that he knows the big picture. And I'm sure that faith has to be there when things don't go our way. When things go our way, we are like very happy. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Lord. Okay. And then we also, sometimes we may say, I got half the money. I wanted $10,000. Now I got only 5. That means you kept your 5. So hisab barabar, no more. So not like that. So this is what has to be, and that is why he is not a partial Lord. Lord is never, never partial. Okay. Now, what about the rest? Okay, this nanny is okay. What about the rest? Okay. Udara sarva evaite jnani tvatmaiva me matam astita sahi yuktatma mamevanuttamagatim. Noble indeed are all these. Okay, now all these is referring to the three, the first three, the artha, the jidnyasu, and the artharthi. But the wise man I deem as my very self, for steadfast in mind, he is established in me alone as the supreme goal. He has talked about the jnani. So all these are noble, but udara, this udara word is actually referring, it's a plural word. Okay, so udara, if you take the word udara means large-hearted, big-hearted. Okay, that is what udara means. Now, udara is being used in plural. So this dara also means wife. One meaning of dara is wife. So what he's saying by calling them udara, noble, but dara, if you take as wife, they are dear to me just as my wife is dear to me, Lakshmi. That is what he means. And this is referring to the other three, the first three, because Jnani is his own self. So he is not like Lakshmi. Lakshmi is different. Wife is different. So he is his own self. He is me, Jnani. But Udara, these other three, you say that, oh, Jnani is most dear to you. So Jnani is your, favorite, and you're paying your partial. Not like that. They are like Lakshmi. So Lakshmi is also very dear to me. She's my wife. So they are also very dear to me. Sarva evete. Jnani tvatmaiva me matam. In my opinion, though, Jnani, because Asthita sahi yuktatma. Yuktatma is yukta atma, joined to atma. Atma here is the self, and self is God. So he is constantly joined. We already saw Nitya, Yukta, and Eka Bhakti. So he's constantly joined to me. So he is myself only. He knows that the self in him is me. So he and I are constantly joined, but that doesn't mean that the other three are, I don't like. I like them like my wife, like Lakshmi. I like them. I like them also. Mamevam anuttama gatim. So he is in me alone as the supreme goal. Anuttama gatim goal. I am the supreme goal. Uttama goal I am. So he is always attached to that goal. Because what is the goal? Goal is the pure consciousness. He has recognized himself to the pure consciousness. So he's always attached to that. Say there is one thing about this jnani. Even in our day-to-day life, suppose if you have two children, okay, now one is older and mature. So what you can do is tell him, okay, there's food in the fridge, you come home, you have the key, take the food, warm it up in the microwave, you eat, you look after yourself. And the child is looking after himself. Okay, that child is mature. But now you have another child who is not that mature, means you have to look after him. So what happens is you start kind of, like you kind of, not that you don't have love for both children, but you say this mature child, I don't have to worry about him. Whereas this child, I have to worry about this child. Now, what is happening is in the four kinds of people that we saw who are turning towards God, Artha, he has his own agenda. So he is in distress. Now Bhagwan has to run for him. Like I told you, Bhagwan came running for Draupadi, Bhagwan came running for Gajendra. Now Bhagwan has to keep running for these people. That is the point. Okay. Then Jidnyasu, now Bhagwan has to stand there like Lord Yama and give him knowledge, because he's asking knowledge. Now Bhagwan has no choice. He's asking for knowledge. So it means Bhagwan has to do work. The point is, now the third person is Artharthi. So Bhagwan has to make sure that he wins the lottery ticket. Bhagwan has to make sure. Whereas now when it comes to Jnani, he doesn't have to worry. He has no worries. He doesn't have to do any work for Jnani. So that Jnani is independent, free, and Bhagwan doesn't have to worry about him at all. And Bhagwan knows now these first three people, because they have their own agenda, they have no time to do Bhagwan's work. Point is, if I have my own think about yourself. Okay, somebody asks you for kya help, you know what? I have no time to breathe also now. Where am I going to come and help you? Right? Isn't that correct? Unless I have the capacity, now I am only in distress. I am only what I will do God's work. Jinyasu is a knowledge. First, give me knowledge, then I'll see what to be done. First, let me get the knowledge. Arthat is looking after material, this thing. Jnani doesn't have all these demands. So he's free to do work. Now the question is, what is God's work? What work does God want to be done? So in 18th chapter, he will say, when we see that, he says, the one who spreads my knowledge, that is God's work. Now this jnani has come to recognize himself as God. He has no demands of his own. He is free to do all the work, go out into the world and do Bhagwan's work. Now, Bhagwan has to do work for the other three. This person is now doing work for Bhagwan. And that is why he is vishishyate. He is special. He's especially dear to me. I don't have to worry about, not only that I don't have to worry about him, he will go and spread my word. So he will create so many more. Even Narad Bhakti Sutra, we will study Narad Bhagwan. His job was to go and spread bhakti. So he had no demands of his own. So he was very dear to Narayan Bhagwan. He was a devotee of Vishnu Bhagwan, right? And Vishnu Bhagwan and Bhagwan, once you become a devotee of Bhagwan, the devotee doesn't worry, because you know why? Bhagwan worries about him. That is the difference. Bhagwan will worry about the jnani. Even we see, even in Vedanta, in Raman Maharshi and all, those who go into Samadhi, those people who Prakriti is looking after the body. Body doesn't perish. So Bhagwan worries about the jnani, Bhagwan worries about the bhakta, but these other three, Bhagwan has to worry about them to give them things. These people are not asking for anything from Bhagwan, the jnanis and the bhaktas. They're not asking, they're saying, don't worry about us, don't worry about us. But Bhagwan takes care of them anyway. Bhagwan doesn't worry about them, but Bhagwan will take care of their every need. So that is why then he is dear, not because Bhagwan is partial. You get this point? This point is important, because this is where the criticism is, that Bhagwan is partial. He's not partial. Okay, so this is what he means here. They're all noble, but then Jnani is the one who is, I deem as my very self. So that's why he's most this thing, because he's steadfast in me alone. He depends on me alone. That also he is very independent, because he has no demands of his own. So he's very free to do all my work. So he is doing my work in this world. And that is what makes me most happy. Even, when we say disciples in Guru, in case of Guru, there is one word disciple and there's one word devotee. And this disciple has to dance to the tune of the Guru, but the Guru dances to the tune of the devotee. Whatever the devotee says, the Guru will do. So it appears, and definition of disciple is one who surrenders to discipline. So he will shout at the disciple. Guru never shouts at the devotee. Guru is very all lovey to the devotees. But when it comes to disciple, Tripti is laughing. She knows, right? He is like so strict. Like I've seen brahmachari standing in total, especially in front of Gurudev, to forget, even in front of Guruji, standing and immediate Sashtang Namaskar and standing in full attention. And devotees are talking there, you see. But what the point is, that the Guru actually loves the disciple more than he ever will love any devotee. Because he knows that it is the disciple that is going to do my work, carry on my work. These devotees are only here, and then they'll go, and then today there's devotion, tomorrow there may not be also. But the true disciple will always carry, and therefore he loves the disciple more them. Not that he's partial, not the guru is partial, but he loves the disciple more. That's what, okay? So that is what this is. Now, yes, Veda.
I have to leave a bit early to go to the
Sure.
ashrama for Sharda Ji's class.
Sure.
Yeah.
No problem. It's in person today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay, so then how do I reach that stage? That is what now Bhagwan is explaining. Means reach that stage means reach the stage of Jnani or Bhakta. But here it is not Bhakta, here it is Jnani only, because this chapter is, the Jnani, you have to understand one thing, that the Jnani is always a Bhakta, and Bhakti in its highest level is a Jnani. So the Bhakta is a Jnani and the Jnani is a Bhakta. Because once you get knowledge and you're loving, your extreme love is for your own self, and now you have the realization that the self is nothing but God. So you become the greatest bhakta. And in bhakti, when your bhakti reaches a stage, now we'll see that in the Monday class, when your bhakti reaches a stage, a higher stage, you get the knowledge that all the true, Hanumanji, they knew, Meera, or Sant Tulsi, whatever devotees that you know, Sant Tukaram is there, Sant Tulsidas ji is there, Meerabai is there, Kabir is there, Hanumanji is there. All these people, even though externally they were worshipping and praying and doing bhajans, in their mind they knew that there is no difference between me and my God, my Ishta Devata, there is no difference. Okay, but they insisted on that form or whatever, but they had no doubt. So the highest bhakta and the highest jnani, they're one and the same, right? So to reach that stage, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sahama Mahatma Sudurlabha. At the end of many births, the wise man comes to me, realizing that all this is Vasudeva, the innermost self. Such a great soul, Mahatma, is very hard to find. Bahunam Janma Namante, at the end of many births, we have seen, those who have studied Mundak Upanishad are studying with me, Bhagavan Shankaracharya said that through many births, the jiva does a lot of punya, and then that punya comes in front of him as the guru, who initiates him into this knowledge. And so after many births. But here, Bahunam Janmanam, there is one thing is that so through many births, you're doing sadhana. That's what we are doing now. So we don't know how many more births are there. So we continue with our sadhana. And then at the end of it, we will come to recognize him. We will become the jnani. But Bahunam Janmanamante also can be taken as intensity of sadhana. See, actually a film example came to my mind because this actress Aishwarya Rai, she was first acting in that I don't know, I forget the name. Anyway, so and she said we had to be totally slim for that movie. She had to be totally like slim and perfect figure, etc., etc. And then she finished the shooting on that film, and then she had to immediately go and report on another film. Oops. So on another film where she had to be a little bit chubby. So first she was this daring woman on the motorbike running around. I forget that name anyway. And then, so she said, we have to put on weight in 2-3 days before the shoot. So they make us eat. We eat all kinds of junk food because in a week, when the shooting starts, I have to appear a little bit chubby. So that Bahujanma Namante, intensity of sadhana. So either you do it through many births, or in one birth alone, if you can intensify your sadhana, you will reach that stage. That is what Bhagavan is saying here. So either that's why in the morning we saw, there is the one who is the Manda Adhikari and the Ati Manda Adhikari, Madhyama Uttama. The Uttama Adhikari will do sadhana so sincerely. So sincere, if you have to train for something, for your Olympic, then how intense is the training? So you don't need births and births to win that gold medal. In this birth only you will win it because you have intensified your training. So here intensification of sadhana also is indicated by bahunam janma namante. Actually, literally translated, it is many births, but in one birth also you can achieve it, but you have to intensify your sadhana that much. Okay, so that is what bahunam janma namante. Jnanvan mam prapadyate. So that prapadyate, he comes to me, right? He surrenders and he gets liberation in this birth or after many births. Vasudeva sarvam iti. What is the knowledge that he gets is that Vasudeva means the self is in all, means the self in me is the self in all. Sarvam iti. Sarvam means Vasudeva. Who is Vasudeva? So see, Vasudeva is the name of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, right? And his father's name was Vasudeva. This word Vasudeva means the one who has purified the impurities of Rajas and Tamas. And there, in that story, Mahabharata, like Vasudeva, when you become Vasudeva, means what? Means I become, not that I become a man, but when I reduce my Rajas and Tamas, the impurities, Vasudeva is born to me. So Vasudeva, and then Vasudeva is Krishna was born to Vasudeva. Vasudeva means one who has reduced Rajas and Tamas. So if I reduce my Rajas and Tamas, then what happens is Vasudeva is born. Vasudeva is born to me, not physically born, but that is when I come to know Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. That Vasudeva, that Bhagwan Shri Krishna, or that self is nothing but the self in all. That is what. And this can be achieved by intense sadhana. Either you intensify your sadhana or you go through births. You keep on doing sadhana little. Don't give up. That is the point. Saha Mahatma Sudurlabha is very rare. So this rare, we have seen in chapter 6 also, where I explained to you, the yogi is very rare. First of all, to get birth in a spiritual family is very rare. The other thing is to get birth as a human being also very. Vivek Churamani, we saw births too. Bhagavan himself said, right there he said in the beginning that just the human body is very rare. So don't disregard it, don't disrespect it. It is precious. Make correct use of it. It is precious. It is not, I go, oh, only one. Now eat, not like that. Make proper use of it. So there are very few people who are born as humans. If we compare ourselves to the entire species in the universe, we are only 2%. Humans are only 2% of reptile, because we think, oh, population is going billions. Here it is 1 billion, there it is 1 billion. But think about all the animals, reptiles, birds, plants that are there in this world. In comparison, we are only 2%. So human birth is rare. Then the, intensification of sadhana. Sadhana is rare. Mumukshutvam is very rare. That's why we see how many few people coming for any kind of spiritual path. Any spiritual path is acceptable. It may be Ishkon, it may be Brahma Kumar, anything. But how few people, as compared to the world population, there's not that many people there. So that's why Bhagwan is saying this kind of Mahatma. Mahatma means the one who has realized himself to be the self in all. And how will that be? Is by reducing rajas and tamas. Means what? Means purifying the mind. So when sattva increases, this knowledge becomes more and more firm. That the self in me is the self in all. At least at our stage, intellectually, if we understand this, then that will have an effect on our behavior. Na? So we should be kind and compassionate and all those kinds of things. Okay. This is Sudurlabha also, one is the human birth. Then the second is the desire to come to the classes, come to the class, means study the scriptures. Because people don't even know, right? People are constantly looking for happiness and they're constantly looking in the world because that's how it has been. We think the world is there for our enjoyment and I have to go look into the world. And so they very rarely they come to. So everything is very rare when it comes to spiritual emancipation. There are a lot of temple goers, okay? There are a lot of people in the temples, but they necessarily are not spiritual. But at least it's better, because you know why? That is also a type of sadhana. That is like, okay, they're in kindergarten, they will progress as they go through births. So bahunam janma namante. So either they will go through births, but if I can in this life itself recognize that, okay, why am I going to the temple? Why am I doing namaskar? Why am I going around the deity? If I can start asking the question why and start studying, looking into scriptures and then start studying, then the sadhana will be more intensified. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Yeah. You have to unmute.
Yeah. Just my aunt used to always say that the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
So that because Vasudeva came up here. So what does that? What does that mantra mean? Like
Oh,
Om
Om.
Namo.
Oh, no, means I salute. Na Nama is salutation. Om
Okay.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I salute to Vasudeva. It's a mantra on Krishna, Bhagavan Krishna. We have all
Okay.
Om Namah Shivaya. We have, right?
Okay.
Now, Om
Yeah.
is, Om is there in every mantra. So it is Namah Shivaya, and we have to start with Om. We have
So you
Om
salute
Namah
to-
Shivaya, means I salute Bhagwan Shiva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya also we have. Namo means salutation.
Okay.
And all the deities we have.
Yeah.
Om Lakshmi Prachodayat. All those are meaning salutations to Lakshmi, salutations to Parvati, whatever name we take.
Okay. Thank you.
It's those mantras are meant for japa, and japa is to help the mind become single pointed. So when you're moving the beads, then your mind is only in that. It's supposed to be. It wanders, but it's supposed to be in that mantra. That's what it is. Any mantra you can take. That is as per your Ishta Devata, or you can do multiple mantras too, or you can just take the name as well.
Okay. Yeah, just Vasudeva is just Krishna. So
Yeah, Vasudeva is great. There's the name. One of the names of Bhagavan Krishna is Vasudeva. Father's name was Vasudeva. Vasudeva means one who has reduced rajas and tamas. So, like metaphorically, Vasudeva is the father, and the child born to him is the self, is the Lord. Lord was born to him. So, if we can reduce our rajas and tamas, the Lord will be born in us. Means what? Means not the Lord has to take birth in us. We will come to recognize ourselves to be the Lord, which means the self in me is the self in all. That's why Vasudeva Sarvam Iti.
okay.
That's what it is. Okay.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So we'll read the next verse, and we don't have much time to explain, but we'll explain next time. Kamaistaistairhritadnyanaha prapadyante devataha tam niyamamasthaya prakrutya niyatya swaya. Those whose wisdom has been looted away by this or that desire go to other gods, following this or that right, led by their own nature. So, what Bhagwan is trying to say here, not trying but saying, is that see, we see people worshipping various deities. Later on in 17, there are people who go to the cemetery and they worship the demigods. There is gods, then there are demigods, then there are demons. Everybody gets worshipped. People who do voodoo. There's voodoo, right? They do this evil. They'll put needles in the doll, and then the person will suffer. That also they are praying only. They're praying for something bad to happen to somebody, but they are praying. That's the point there. So what he's saying is, kama staitai jnanaha. So they have got so many desires, various desires. Okay. So what they do, prapadyante anya devataha, other gods, other deities. So the one who wants money goes and prays to Lakshmi. The one who wants knowledge goes and prays to Saraswati. The one who wants Shakti to destroy others or for whatever reason, prays to Parvati. So then the one who wants rain prays to Indra. We have seen this in Bhagavad Puran that Krishna's parents were doing yajna, and he said, "Why are you doing all this yajna?" He said, "Oh, no, 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 no. Unless we pray to Lord Indra, we will not get the rains." This is what exactly this verse is. So what did Bhagwan say there? What happened there? Indra now became very egoistic. Like, unless you pray to me, I will not give you the rains. Bhagwan said, no, we will not pray. Let me see. Means what? That's why what he's saying is, tam tam niyamas asthaya prakrutya niyasvaya. I am the one that is actually giving the result. That's why, see, that story, that is the idea. Indra is in charge, but who has given him that power? Bhagwan, Brahman is the power is coming for the gods, right? He's a demigod, like Varuna is there, wind god is there. We have all these deities, sun god is there, but all of them they are getting their powers from a central authority, one authority, which is here represented by Krishna. That's why in that story, Bhagwan said, we will not pray to him. Let me see what he does. Because I have given him that power to give rains. Now he's kind of blackmailing you, emotional black. Unless you do this yajna, I will not give you rain. What is that? That is blackmail. Modern day blackmail it is. Unless you give me this, I will not give you that. Bhagwan says, let me see. And then we know what happened. Then he rained heavily, 44 years. Bhagwan said, no problem. So at age 8, he just lifted the Govardhan on his little finger. And 44 days it rained, and then Indra realized, oh, not good. And then he surrendered. So see, all those stories, there is two purposes. One is to destroy the evil. So Putana, Kausa, all that. But also it is to destroy the ego of these devatas, that they were started becoming very egotistical. That's the story of Brahmaji also, where he captures all the gopis. Bhagavan says, no problem. He understands. But how? Okay, I will only become, you should read that story. Krishna photocopies himself, our Balvihar book. That is the story. He said, okay, I will only become all the gopis. You take all the gopis. Let me see what happens. Then after 1 year, it dawned, tube light in Brahmaji's head. Oh. So knowing this story, first only we should surrender to God. Don't have a tube light after 1 year. Don't have that. First only you surrender. Here Bhagavan is saying, led by their own nature. So, the one who is materialistic, Rajasic, right? He wants material property, prosperity, going after Lakshmi. Then somebody is going after Indra. Somebody is going after, I want rain, I want health. So, they're going after one deities. They're praying without understanding that I'm the one that is the ultimate giver of the results. That's what Bhagavan is saying here. Looted away by this or that desire. There are three kinds of desires. Okay, we'll stop. There is Putreshana, Lokeshana, and Vitteshana. There is Bhagavan Shankaracharya's commentary, but we'll continue next time. There is a little bit more more to this verse than just that. But that is the gist of this verse, that they keep praying to other gods. One thing is they don't realize that ultimate the giver of result is me, and they pray to these other gods as per their own nature. And next Bhagavan will say that even if at least they're praying to these gods, not the voodoo kind, but they're praying to these gods. So I increase their faith in that God by giving them that, but they forget that the result is coming from me. But we will see that next time. Any questions? All okay? All right. So we will meet next time, which is 28th, next Sunday. Okay. All right. And some of you I'll see tomorrow, Monday, there is a class. And there is a class on Friday as well. Okay. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्ति भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishate Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Okay, Hari Om, everybody. I think all of you were there in the morning class. If not, please remember that May 11th is our Guru Paduka Puja because May 8th is Gurudev's birthday, but it's falling in the midweek. So we are doing it on Saturday. We invite the board is inviting all of you in Vancouver, of course, to come for the puja. It will be between 10 and 11. And if anybody wants to sponsor, the sponsorship for the May Yajna is set at $300 per day. Okay. All right. So see you all tomorrow, some of you tomorrow. Okay. Hari Om. Have a great day. Bye. Bye.
Hari Om.